rented classic Hondas on the Dragon. The views are always beautiful, the people are always nice, the cars are always fun, the roads are always magnificent. I always leave looking forward to the next year, and this year was no different. I can't wait to go back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. It's great to see you. This is the year-long build of the FA5. And yes, I did sell the Fit back in January of 2024. The reasons of why I sold that, the specific reasons of why I sold that, I'm going to be putting in another video that will be uploaded next week. It's going to not only discuss the reasons why I sold it, but also a lot of the details about pay swapping it. I've gotten tons of questions since then. I'm going to be addressing those in that next video that's going to be next week. The main reason why I sold the Honda Fit, for the last couple years, I've been building a car once a year to take the classic Hondas on the Dragon. And I've been on a search to find the best chassis that gives me the best all-around experience, whether it be handling, mountain driving, street driving, fun, comfortability. All of those things are what I'm looking for. The Fit had some shortcomings that I'll discuss in the next video. Shout out to our sponsors of today's video, Hybrid Racing, which has launched a new program where you can go on their site and schedule a time to talk to one of their people where they can help you with your build and specify everything. Obviously, they're going to be having a ton of Black Friday sales coming up in the next month. Also, reaction coilovers. You cannot beat their quality and cost. If you use code HSG, you will save 15%. And of course, Dragon Spec. Go to thedragonspec.com and save 20% by using code CHD9. Enough talking, let's get into the FA5 build. I'll see you back here at the end of the video. My plan has always been to FD2 front end it, or actually FD1. There's a whole lot of specifics about doing FD1, FD2. My main concern was having a white car. Now, why am I doing this? Getting rid of this nice USDM front end? Well, it's because these tabs here are pretty much done. And to fix that, I not only have to replace the bumper and the side pieces here, pretty much just short on both ends. So as much as I try to get this to be fixed, it's just not gonna stay. FA5 front end, we're gonna be swapping. So my plans have been completely kind of effed up, clearly by the front end of this. Anyway, I was in an accident yesterday. Somebody pulled out in front of me, did a U-turn in the middle of the road. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. This is like an FD3 front end. Obviously, this is kind of a problem.
Mostly got smashed in there. I gotta pull all this apart, but not only that, went and picked up a new front end, new headlights, front bumper, and luckily these are white, however the fenders are not. Also, we got our wheels right here, fresh mounted RT660 Falcon Mazzinis. These are just stock wheels. I've been driving around. I need to replace some ABS sensors, the lower control arms, and we're putting on reaction suspension, which is my absolute favorite suspension. But we're gonna get this thing up on jack stands, rip it apart as fast as we can. Fender off, the bumper off. This is what we're looking at for the headlight here. Trying to get the lights unplugged. It's completely unbolted. So.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
So but before we rebuild, we have to replace the suspension. These mono SS's are not the greatest, and they are pretty beat anyway. So luckily, Reaction has come to the rescue. I'm gonna put some new suspension on this thing, and lower control arms, you can see right there, it's pretty cracked up. So I'm gonna get all this apart and replace the ABS sensors. I'm sure it'll be fun because these typically rust in place, and yep, it's gonna be super awesome. All right, so we've got all the suspension pulled apart. I just replaced the lower control arm and removed the ABS sensor. I'm about to install the new ABS sensor. Be very careful with these. They break so easily. And now we're gonna install this and then the Reaction coilovers. Okay, so we've got the suspension and everything all done on the passenger side. We are just now test fitting the new fender. Everything seems to line up perfect. So far, haven't had any hiccups. Everything's, lining up, bolting up where it should. Shout out to Reaction. Yeah, these reactions are what you want. All right, another day working in the garage. Here are the headlights. I just did a test polish on this headlight. It looked just like this one before. You can see how dirty and hazy this is. I mean, there's a lot of dirt on it, don't get me wrong, but we just polished this up. Sanded it with, I think, 1,000 grit, something like that, and then, water sanded it. And then I polished it out. I'm not trying to go too crazy. I just wanted it to look good and be nice and clear, and you can tell that's night and day difference over this. I'm not going for perfection. Just want to get the scuzz off of it. This side I think is done. I just need to plug up the light bulbs, and these are HIDs, so I need to wire them a different way. Suspension is done on the front and rear. Next up is to polish this headlight. So I just did this side. It's now beautiful, looking nice and clean and clear. I'm pretty happy with this for now. I've got so much other stuff to do. I'm just gonna move on, because we can always come back and polish these later. All right, quick tip on anybody who's wondering how to do this. These are the Honda headlights that have the HID packs. You can tell by this little ballast box underneath here. It's just a 2-wire plug. If you notice, you can't stick a normal bulb in there. You can on the brights. Don't worry about this thing here, because that adjusts the lights, and that's a thing that does not exist on the US cars, so don't worry about it. All you have to do to wire this guy up is literally cut the plug off and match color to color. You can see it's black is ground, green is power, and it's that simple. It's straightforward. It's the only plug you really need out of the harness. Okay, now I've also done the FD2 rear or FD1 rear conversion as well. Just simply bolting the trunk on and then having to cut out a little bit extra for the tail lights. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do this. One of the things that makes it really easy is you can go with a company called Feather Solutions. Find him on Instagram. And what he does is he provides brackets for the taillights. Just like on the internet, I have cut this out. And so we're gonna use the brackets to strengthen the top, because the top is not bolted to anything. So here is the bracket installed, and it really does help close the gap up here. So highly suggest it. On the JDM trunks, your license plate is not going to fit. Only one bolt will, because it's wider. So he makes a solution
This bolts into place, and then you can bolt your USDM tag on it. All right, so we've got this in place. He gives you nice flush hardware, so it's nice and flat. He also gives you hardware for the plate itself with some nice beauty washers. So much nicer. Okay, I am super happy with how this has turned out. It looks amazing. Well, I'm gonna bring the front up a little bit. You can tell it's a little too low. But anyway, I think I might come up a hair in the front. Need to put the exhaust back on. I'm gonna be doing something else with the exhaust. I have another rear bumper that's an actual full bumper because I never liked the cut bumper. However, all of a sudden with this little duck bill and the way it's sitting, the cut bumper actually kind of works. But again, not a big fan of it. But it does look good right now. Just wish those fenders were white. It'd make things so much easier. Well, it all looks good. Headlights are working. Taillights are working. The rear end of this looks so good. Goodbye, OG 8th gen shifter. Hello, hybrid racing shifter. Okay, so the pain in the ass that is putting a valve cover on an FA5 on a K24 is a bit. You basically got to get it past this guy. I even dropped the side mount to fit it on here to pull it on and off. Beautiful wrinkle blue, and we used fresh black acorn nuts from Resto Tuner. Get the cover on and wrap this baby up and put some oil in it. All right, so we got the new valve cover on, new spark plugs in. We've got fresh oil in the motor, fresh new filter, fresh new transmission fluid. I am going to be putting a hybrid racing fuel rail, battery drop down tray, hybrid racing intake, and then getting a tune. But right now we're just gonna finish up here and then move on. So now it is time to paint these silver fenders, and I also have a front lip that is black that I ordered off of eBay. So I've got this fender to paint, a front lip, which I'll get. Obviously this fender to paint, and I need to redo the side skirts, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to that right now. But this car is absolutely filthy with bugs all over it. So first thing that I am going to do is wash it and get it ready. And then we're gonna sand these fenders, prime them, and paint them and clear them. Okay, so we have jumped fast forward. We have washed the car and we've removed the front bumper and headlight. We're gonna remove the other headlight when we get to the other fender. Right now I'm kind of sanding the fender just so it's, while it's on the car, because it's easier just to have it held up in front of me. I'm about to pull the side skirt off and then do that little bottom half section and around here. I'm using a sanding block of 600 grit. I'm following Brian from Paint Society's method on how to do this. So I'm using 600 grit to sand it down, and there's a couple of imperfections in the paint, but it's not too bad. Moving forward, once we get the fender off the car and we're ready to spray, we'll be right back. I'm about to spray this bad boy. We're just gonna hit it with some primer. I'm using white primer. I guess that'll help with the base coat maybe, so it'll match this color. I'm not looking for perfection. Did get to feta white. However, you can see that my trunk is a different color white. My front bumper and hood are a different color white. Not looking for perfection. I don't have the money to repaint this whole car. Hopefully I can have it repainted, the whole thing, eventually, but right now it's not something I want to do or in my budget. All right, I think we're ready. We're using Duplicolor Perfect Match. To be honest with you, I really do hate doing this. I'm not a paint and body man. It's one of those things that's like, I can do, I just do not enjoy it. I really don't. I just don't enjoy doing this. Of course, it always like brings you joy to like spray something and like, oh, it looks good. It's just not my cup of tea. I just don't really enjoy it. Okay, it's a Christmas miracle. Look at that. White fenders, no longer silver. I almost said silver. It's funny because it like matches the roof, but not the doors, because the doors are just so, like, this car needs a good cut and buff, but finally it's at least all one general color. I'm happy with this for now. So I'm just hoping I can put it back together and not, you know, beat it up or mess it up too much. So what I'm gonna do is just let it sit here for a couple hours, leave the garage door open, let the fumes, yeah, just let this dry. Really looks pretty good. And now we're gonna do the grill. Okay, we've just brought the grill in. It is nice and dry. It's been cleared. It looks great. I just brought it inside because it's 1,000 degrees outside. Now, when it comes to the Honda emblem, I kind of only have one choice currently because of the way that this grill is. I have to buy a whole FD to first gen grill to kind of change this, but my only choice right now is to use this Honda emblem, which is like a glassed over thing. This is one whole assembly. There's no pulling that out of there, or, you know, that's all one piece. Before, I had the red emblem, which is a whole nother system that has this, like a block that this goes on. Now, I even took this off and tried to put it on here because it is nearly the same size, but it's a different angle and it won't stick to this. So for those asking why not run the red emblem, I'm just going to run this because this is an entire assembly, mounts in from screws in the back, and this is our grill, which it's fine. I dig it. I don't mind it. Looks pretty good. I like the white a lot better than the chrome. And if I don't like this, I'll make it black or just switch out to a Mugen grill entirely. So the car's looking good. Fenders aren't perfect for sure, but it's white. Okay, so the car's looking pretty good, but now we need to do the front lip. Clearly, it is entirely black, and we need to make it white. I'm just gonna go ahead and scuff it up and get it ready for paint. I don't think I like this grill piece white because it's obviously a different color than the hood and the front bumper, and I think it would look better black. So I picked up some black paint. Also, damn it, boy, look at the bugs. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to wash this, but I'm gonna go ahead and prep this, get this in the sun, sprayed, and get this thing painted. Finally go on the car, and the car will look complete, in my opinion. We got the lip painted white. We're about to clear it. And the grill as well, nice and black. So I think that'll work out. All right, so we've got the lip on the front bumper, and this is probably one of the best lips that I've ever bought that fit really well and also mounts really well. They sent these brackets that actually mount here and here. It actually slides underneath. There's these little slots in there. You have to remove the little rubber lip, but I mean, they fit perfect. And of course, a couple screws in the corners here. The fitment is amazing. It's a damn shame I completely suck at painting. It's okay, it's white. I applied a little too much clear coat because I wasn't used to this, so clear coat is yellowed a little bit, which is kind of funny because it makes it match the front bumper a little bit more. Then again, it's pretty effing terrible. I'm gonna put the grill on, put it back on the car, we'll take a look. Okay, bro. 10 times better looking, look at that. So much better with the front lip, black grill. Amazing now. It looks right. I'm not looking for perfection. You know, I've had cars with perfect paint before, and it always made me panic every time I took it somewhere. I never worry. 10 feet away, 20 footer, boy. Woo, 20 foot. It really does look so much better. Okay, it's time for a new intake for this car. And of course, we have gone with hybrid racing cold air intake with the battery tray drop down. Comes with everything you see here. We also have a hybrid racing fuel rail we will probably install. So these are all the pieces that you need to install this, including an upper radiator hose. Again, they give you everything that you need. I'm gonna start disassembling this, getting the old intake off. FYI, you do need to update your map or have it retuned, run this intake. I do have the base map uploaded. time to reinstall the battery and the intake. Okay, back at it the next day. You'll notice we kind of jumped ahead, which I'm going to show you what we did. Got the intake and everything on. Took it for a ride and ran over the filter because I forgot to tighten this guy. So also, I don't have fender liners in here anymore. They were ripped out. So anyway, I don't have fender liners. If it rains, it's going to be throwing water into the intake. I'm going to do what Zosh did and shorten the intake. I'm going to take this off and we're going to cut it right about here. I want to keep the intake in the engine bay. It'll still kind of get cooler air from up here, but I don't want it down in front of the wheel, which you can probably see. Again, I tried to keep the fender liners, but they got ripped off one day. Let's go ahead and remove that. We're gonna try to find something to cut it. So here's with the battery tray, just a couple notes. You have to flip the battery around the opposite way, move the ground wire over to here. Other than that, it's pretty simple. Obviously, getting these in place were sort of a real pain, but it's all done. All right, so here's our intake. We have obviously shortened it and kind of pointed it down towards the hole so it gets pause. So we've shortened the intake so that it's pointed near fresh air and it won't get soaked with water and cause any sort of hydrolocking. So if you don't have fender liners, I don't suggest putting this intake right in front of your front tire, because when it rains, it just pours water into the intake, and that's not good, because then you could possibly hydrolock it. And now we're gonna try to do one more thing. I've got the fuel rail loaded with the fuel injectors. Here's a trick. The best trick I've ever found when doing any seals, whether it's for fuel, coolant, O-rings, anything, cover them in Vaseline. Vaseline is the trick. It will seal it. It'll make sure that none of the O-rings rip, because a lot of times what happens is go to put fresh O-rings in something, and when they go to shove, it just gets caught, and so it rips and then causes leaks. Prevent that. Use Vaseline to lubricate these bad boys, or just spit on it.
Nasty!
Anyway, so now what we're gonna do is place this on here very carefully. Now I took the plastic covering off the wiring harness, so maybe tuck it away. Now this is very important. We need to locate this ground. Beautiful. We need to connect the fuel line. Oh, beautiful. I'm gonna throw the security clip over it. So now what we gotta do is check for fuel leaks, and we should be Gucci taters. All right, we just primed the engine and no fuel leaks. We got 40 PSI. I think we're good to start. No fuel leaks? Vaseline for the win, baby. I tell you every time. Also, hybrid racing shifter. And its G10 springs, feeling amazing. So, I think this thing's getting ready real close for the Dragon. And we just installed the rear JDM bumper. Easy peasy, pulled the old one off, put the new one on. Obviously, different color, but man, it looks so much better. The exhaust I clearly need to re-weld. Get cut and re-weld, but this is far over, so I could move it out of the way. And it is rubbing now, so it looks so much better. I didn't realize when I ordered these that these need brackets to mount these. What I did is I just made my own little kind of ghetto bracket right here, just like this one here. There's this one, put a screw there, little bracket, just put a screw in there. It's holding it tight. This piece I super glued, and it's not going anywhere. It's not gonna fall out. Being in the US, I can't really get access to CSX parts or those brackets. Can't really find them anywhere else. I also put yellow bulbs in here. So we're gonna put it back on the car. We're going to test and see what it looks like. I've actually got yellow lights in here, and I'm thinking it might be too much yellow. So you can tell that's a lot of yellow right there. I may switch it to either just a regular white incandescent or hyper white or amber. but yet the inside's amber, so I don't think amber's a good idea. The hyper white's pretty bright. The incandescent little, 192 bulb or whatever might actually work perfect because it's not so strong against the headlights. These are just driving lights and they're pretty freaking bright. So let me go ahead and put the front bumper back on. We're gonna turn the fog lights on and see what it looks like. Obviously, we have our fog lights here lit up in yellow. Looks pretty damn good. I swapped this side for the driving light to be an incandescent bulb. And I think color-wise, that looks pretty damn good. Over here, looks like a bit too much yellow. There's one other option I'm going to switch out, even though I kind of like this because it's dim, it's not too bright. I have LEDs, white LEDs for this, but what I'm gonna do is switch to a white LED on this side, and then we'll compare and see what it looks like. All right. So this side or this side? Honestly, this looks a little too hyper white in my opinion. I think we're just gonna go with this because it gives it a little bit more color. Plus it's much less bright. I mean, this is really bright. Yeah, I'm gonna go with incandescent and we'll move on. I think this is it. This is the way we're gonna go. Looks pretty damn good. Easy, it's not expensive. I think I got the inserts on eBay for about 35 bucks shipped. You take the door panel off, you go onto the back of it, you take the screws out, use a Dremel to cut the plastic welds, separate the piece out, pull the black fabric off, take the plastic piece that holds the fabric, spray it with fabric adhesive, let it sit a few minutes before you actually put the fabric on so it can tack up and get sticky. Lay the fabric on, start in the middle, and then roll it around the edges. Put it back together with short screws. You will need to go pick up short screws from like Ace Hardware or something like that, and you're gonna need about 45 to 50 of them. So it's quite an easy thing, makes the interior look great. It's just a bit time consuming and messy, but not an expensive mod. Honestly, it's just one of those touches that really makes the interior kind of feel nice. The red goes really well with it. You could get other colors, blue. This is called a jersey fabric. You can go on eBay and actually find pre-cut pieces that are red or blue. Especially with the gauge cluster or the yellow needle. Looking really good. And one little tip for anybody that wants to go do this, do not leave your key inside the car. When you take this off, when you go to shut the door, for some reason, sometimes it'll get locked and it'll be locked and you can't open it. So leave the key outside of the car. Okay, so we've got about 11 days before the Tail of the Dragon. I ordered some seat brackets to put a seat in the car for just the trip. We've put the door inserts in, and the theme of the interior is red. However, I picked up a seat that is blue that's not going to be staying in the car, but it is going to be used for the Tail of the Dragon trip. So yes, this is the seat. It is an NRG. It's not the greatest seat in the world, but the fixed ones are actually pretty good. So I'm gonna get this thing set up and hopefully get it into the car easily. I'm gonna be honest with you, seat brackets are never fun. They're a pain in the ass. All right, got the chair out, got the rails in place loosely. Again, this is not a fun job. Get the chair over here. To get in, I gotta take that middle console out. Obviously, I have the seatbelt connected, and then this seatbelt connects down there. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it's not that hard, but it is a pain in the ass. Okay, added some horsepower with some stickers. 10 out of 10 recommend putting a bucket seat in an 8th gen. It is night and day difference of how good the car feels. The stock SI seats are really good. They do squeeze you a little bit in the kidney area and it gets kind of uncomfortable on long trips. These seats are really comfortable. I don't think this one is gonna stay long term. And I would like to get a pair of seats that are maybe red or black or something like that. Yeah, moving on. Another thing that I did was I raised the suspension, but I didn't exactly raise it. I just put more preload on the rear springs, and my God, the car handles even better now. This reaction suspension is so good. I have yet to kind of experience anything where I don't like it. The ride is not harsh, very comfortable, and yet still very firm and stiff. And of course, if you stiffen up all the dampers, it gets even more stiff. I do have the rear set to pretty stiff and the front a little soft, but I may change that when I actually get up to the tail of the Dragon to see how it feels. All right, one last cosmetic thing. We got some side markers that we're going to be putting on the car. These are for the CSX. I don't really like the FD2 OEM ones, but these basically fit in its place. So we're going to go ahead and basically tape up, cut the hole. I've got the stencil on there. I'm going to trace that out, use the Dremel, cut it out. Easy peasy. This is one of the OG Honda Street Garage videos. So. Yeah, right. I think the dangerous part's over. I may have to cut some more. Oh, nice. Yeah, we just need to cut a little bit more right here. All right, guys, if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations. You made it through a movie practically. Really appreciate all the support that you guys have given me over the years. Thank you for clicking on this video. Next Saturday morning, I'll be uploading a video about the Honda Fit, all the K-swap details, why I sold it, why it took me so long to, upload and stuff like that. A lot more personal, in-depth talking video. So please stay tuned for that. And I'm going to try to upload again every week on Saturdays. I have a lot of things in the works. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they all work out. To give you guys a sneak peek of what should be coming up, I think is a big project that we're going to be doing. Very excited about. Just fingers crossed. Give you a little hint. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. To give you context of what's coming, that guy is going in a golden era.